Hello and welcome to Cherry Hills. You catch us here at the shop, having just purchased our new AR frame trucks. We've turned in all our own old man trucks, and we're going to replace them with these guys. So we had 7 of these that we needed to change, and we've kind of just done that. Basically what we have is the 3 black ones were for various transport tasks, 2 red ones were sort of fuel related, and we've got 2 water trucks. What we have to do is I'm going to kind of just hook a couple of these up first off, and we've got a couple of tasks to do on the farm. We're waiting on a helper that's finishing off a field 2, is it 3? Field 3, sorry, with the big cultivator. This guy actually, I can't remember where this one's from. We do need to return that, so I'll just leave that there for the moment. One of these water trucks is up from near the brewery. The other water truck is from down near Charcoal. We'll take this one up to the brewery. One of the red ones is from the BGA, just up here. We'll take, whoops, too far. We will. Having a lot of trouble with steering today. The car truck's doing completely stupid things with steering. So we swapped to these. These are the AR frame truck made by GTX Mods. Essentially, it is a custom road train pack, twin duo star, whatever they call it, which has been extended in length to support use with the AR frame platform. We use this for various tasks, including water trucks and the like. We swapped out all the man trucks. I think all we have is a couple of tipper trucks now, and I will sort those out later. I think we've got one. Actually, I think it's 1, or is it 2 tipper trucks effectively that need to be kind of swapped out. Right, let's jump in one of these. This is red one, so actually that's perfect timing, because I want to take the red one of the red ones to the BGA. And what I will do is we'll take this one in here, and we will just hook this up, and then we'll take the other red one down to near field 1. So there's one thing we're going to do today is, I think last time, I can't remember when it was exactly, but the section of grassland that we've effectively created in between field 1 and field 2, it's kind of a perfect staging area now for the farm equipment that kind of works on those 2 fields. And what we are going to do is I'm going to pop a placeable down, a little placeable kind of little barn or something, just to act as a staging point so we can store some equipment there. So we're going to take this down there. I've kind of taken the platform that was attached to the previous truck there, which is one of these kind of service platforms, so you've got seeds and fuel and stuff, as kind of a little bit of an fixer thing for that location. So we are going to pop down there in this truck a whopping 86 miles an hour. This truck can fairly shift. This is a very long road. It really is. So we are going to all of this equipment that's currently sat here. There's a ton of it, basically. Yes, it's a useful spot, but to be honest, it's not the best location for it. I mean, we've got loads of stuff just dumped there. What I'm actually thinking is that this spot here is actually much better. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to check on my helper. So as you'll see as well, we've actually removed £15 million pounds from the bank account. That has basically been used to start up the Snetterton's Farm series. We have done 2 episodes, essentially an episode 0 and episode 1, and there is actually an episode 2 that I did. However, I might have to redo them because Stevie, when he releases, is actually doing a complete rejig of the map. Well, not complete rejig, but essentially the map is going to have a lot of changes, so it requires a new save. Now, we won't be doing a new save in its entirety, but what we will be doing is kind of merging the saves over. So we have a couple of options. We have this machinery shelter here. This is quite low and probably you can't really put a combine in there. So I'm actually thinking of putting 2 placeables down here. The first one will be this guy. The wood barn. I like this. It's actually kind of cool. It's quite long and it is quite a longish thing. So we'll put that down. And what we're actually going to do, because this has a wall at the end, as you can see, so we're actually going to swap that. Hold on. Turn that around. Actually, it doesn't. I don't think it's going to work. I was thinking of doing it. Damn it. Let's just turn myself around. What I was kind of hoping to do is kind of line it up. And have 2 of them back to back like that. Facing opposite directions. But it's not going to work. I really want to have let's try that. Not ideal, but it will do. What we then have is 2 sheds. Oh, that is steep. No, that's not going to work. That is so not going to work. That is so not going to work. That's just way too high. Yeah, that's not going to work at all. That is essentially just too... Let's pop... I can't really do it there either because it's on that kind of grassy verge. And it will basically have the grass. Yeah, that just gets too big. Might go there if I move that truck, thinking about it. Let's put this truck in here. Okay, we should be able to do that, I think. We do it there. Theoretically, it should actually... Yeah. The issue we have is this. It seems to just climb up because of the curve. Sorry, the field rising. It just kind of gets a little bit silly. I like this barn. It's actually quite a nice looking barn. Okay, let's not use this one. Let's try the other one. See how the other one works. So this one doesn't have a base to it. It's so much smaller. I think, no, we don't like the second one there. Keep forgetting this is in order of how they are in the list. So, issue we have actually. Is I need to find. Hold on. No, can't do it with what's something we've got one of. That should be fine for the moment. We'll just use it with one for the moment. So we've got one shed, and we can put various bits of equipment in there. We can put a combine in here, which is pretty much what I kind of want. Should be able to back a combine into there. So, yes, our tractor's finished that field, so we can go and do things. So what I'm going to do is just drop this in here for the moment. We'll move all our equipment in here later. Okay, so this guy should have finished. Yep, he's finished. So we need to head up to field 5. That's the only field I think that needs doing. Everything else is pretty much sorted. We need to do headlands on field 5, and we need to think. So we're going to do cross up and oops, that was a little bit out higher than I thought it was. Oops, not very realistic. This is a rally tractor. Not quite. So this tractor, I don't know why I've not going up the road, because essentially the road is a pain with this thing. It is too wide for these roads. It's actually too wide for any road. I have been looking for, I want to build a racetrack in Farmington, and in order to build a racetrack I need a map, base map, and I need to do a road. Now, the weird thing is, I can paint on a road, that's fine, it can be then any width I want it to be. However, I don't like it. I want like a proper tarmac road like this. But the issue I have, and that's kind of is the thing, is the it is actually surprisingly tricky to do. The road sort of textures and stuff, there's certain width and there's nothing really suitable. So we're going to do this. I'm going to back up a little bit. And let the thing, I'm actually going to, it doesn't matter actually, it's off slightly. It shouldn't be a problem on here. We have a small pooch that has decided to join us whilst we're recording, and she is chasing a fly. She has a sight set on something that's been flying around the flat, as she does. You'll get hours of amusement from running around trying to catch something that's tiny, small, and yes, very much not farming sim related, but hey. So because we've got quite a section of grass on the left here, we don't need to necessarily worry about how much headland we've got, because that will get included. We're going to go down and across, and then when we come back on the return leg, we'll basically use the helper, and that will start us off there. Oops, too far. Reset GPS mode. Need to get this right. Again, we don't really necessarily care so much that the thing's actually off as well here, actually thinking about it. Because again, we're driving and this is a straight edge, so, and it's not used as part of a headland, so it's actually just a connecting piece between the two. Rather than just scoot down to the other end, we'll do it in the square. Saves a bit of time and energy, really. So we'll be picking up the Snetterton Farm series again, probably Sunday. We'll record a couple of episodes with that. Now, I am publishing these. Obviously, I've already published the first episode, episode 0. By the time you see this, episode 0 has been out for several days now, and episode 1 will have been out as well for several days. So, just because of the thing. So, this episode will probably come out Monday or Tuesday. So, would have kind of, it's quite tricky really, because I kind of interlake the episodes and record them in batches, and that way I've got a nice buffer. Just why you've kind of there'll be an episode between this, the episode before this, which is actually done before I did Snetterton kickoff, and this one, and essentially I mentioned that one, and that will actually come out after the Snetterton kickoff stuff has happened. So there's a kind of a disconnect a little bit, timeline change, as it were. But it's just because I record in batches, so I'll do 2 or 3 of a given series at a time, and then they get trickled out over a few days and so on. So this is, I want to get all of the stuff here on Cherry Hills kind of fields all ready to plant in one go. We're not actually going to do any, so I've kind of decided that I'm not going to plant anything for a while. I'm actually not going to plant anything until essentially we're in midsummer, so in theory we shouldn't be planting. We shouldn't plant anything if we're going to be realistic at this point. It's just, that's, in theory, that's what we should be doing, is we shouldn't be planting at all. To be fair, we should have done the harvest shouldn't have been done at this point. It should have been done. Actually, we should be harvesting kind of ish soon, as opposed to what we've done. It's a little bit weird. We're going to keep on this map in the way we're doing things. We're going to probably change a little bit as well. What I'm going to do, we've got our production lines, all our production lines, which we've added to the map core, all go to central distribution now. And we have this Evapor Agro stuff on, and that is all placeables. That's all well and good, but it's not integrated in the way that everything else is. And I am considering whether or not to take those placeables and make them core. add them to the actual core map as a G edited thing. It might be an idea to do that. So it's something I am thinking that it might be worth doing. Right. Let's get this. So I'm actually considering it, and it would mean we can implement things like pallet handlers, but it doesn't mean that we'd have to move some of the the items, because for instance the sugar factory and dairy are in a really awkward location for putting pallet handlers, because essentially the way it goes on the map, the location it's popped in, it's right by the road, and the actual spawn point for all the pallets is really right by the road, and we actually have to go onto the road to do the unloading and loading. That's kind of not right. If we do a map edit version, what I will do is the dairy will actually go up near the other dairy. There'd be like a little dairy complex. That might be the way we do these things. So I'm going to look at that and see what we can do. I'm going to put this on helper now, and we can leave that to it. That should basically get on with this field, which we've already done the headlands for, and it just needs to go and do its stuff. 3 is ready. 2 is ready to actually go. We did a little bit of tree pruning off camera for this row. Actually, we might have to continue. We're going to monitor essentially the work on this field, because some of these trees are a little bit in the way. So I'm actually going to leave this guy up here because we may need him again, and I'm just going to put him over here by the fence. We have this guy, which actually needs to go back to the pigs because he needs filling up. So the last bit of field work is this is field 5, and then we'll have everything is ready for seeding, and we will do a big seeding push. How we're going to get everything seeded? Now we've got field 1's now huge. Field 2 is big. Field 3 is big. Field 1 has become a good 30 plus hectares. Field 1 and 2 are like close to 70 plus hectares in the pair of them. They are really big. Just those 2 fields have literally just become quite big. Right. We have 2 muck spreaders, and both of them needed filling, so turn it on and fill it up. Be nice and quick. That's just really kind of watching how long we think. So that's, oops. So we've got that. Let's move some of this equipment over. So we don't need all of this here. To be fair, we probably won't be using this guy again for a while. It's not a very big piece of equipment now compared to the size of the fields now. This field's now huge. That's field 1. That is basically, you can see where we've the difference in slightly darker and the lighter. That's the difference from where we've kind of been working the field with fertilizer. And effectively, I wonder if this is going to fit. It fits. Oh, that's actually pretty bad. It's actually we might have to change this, but it'll do for the moment. But we do have this kind of large field now. If it's there, everything is kind of prepped and ready to go. This can actually go back up to the farm because we very rarely use this guy, but it's used when we don't have any manure or don't need any manure. It's expensive to use this guy because it's fertilizer, and we can't auto-fill fertilizer from our stores. Whereas the manure we can. We have the help of Phil from the manure pits, and we have tons of manure, so we can bring stuff in that way. It's much easier and cheaper to use that, so we might actually swap this for a slurry spreader, not slurry, muck spreader. We can actually do a slurry spreader, to be honest. All the slurry based cultivators, however, are very narrow and not very efficient. We drop this up by here. Let's have a look at I actually haven't checked out the cows recently. Oh, we've got 7,000 cows. I haven't sold a cow ever in this game. I've sold about 20,000 pigs. This is like 700 sheep. They're terrible. The pigs are funny because effectively they're around about, I think it's around about 5,000. There is a kind of a point that the pigs essentially it's like a critical mass point effectively where the pigs will just reproduce every second. Effectively, well, not every second, every minute in game, and it's at that point. It's insane. So this just ticks up. Right, so let's kind of leave this session. Actually, looking for that. I think we'll leave this session when we started this session. Looking at our AR frame trucks. Smaller number this time. So thank you for watching. If you've liked this episode, please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you wish to follow our Cherry Hill series, our new Snetterton's Farm series, and so on, and our map reviews and so on. Please hit the subscribe button. With that, thank you all for watching. Have a great day and goodbye.